Hey guys, what's up? So today I wanted to show you my Spyderco collection. It's March 2020. The collection is shrunk a little bit, and unfortunately I did have some that I did not get to get on camera before I had to send them on their way. But regardless, I'm gonna get these on camera if the case ever is that I do trade any of them or something like that, so I can have them on here already reviewed or at least like talked about a little bit. So without any further ado, let's get started. This is the first one I have here. These first I'm gonna show are my two American-made Spydercos. These are my go-to Spydercos. So first I have over here, this is the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. As I said, made in the USA, Colorado. This is S30V steel, American steel. You have a G10 handle and a compression lock. 4-position pocket clip on this one, and what I like about this one is they have this jumbo size lanyard hole here, so you can stick through, your paracord very easily. You don't have to sit there and try to thread it through with a paper clip or something strange like that. This knife is very smooth, and you have a very versatile, as Spyderco does with all their blades, this leaf shape here. When I first got this knife, it took me a little while to kind of figure out how to see it, but if you do see it here, I have a pencil. Let's see if I can show it kind of like how I saw it. So this edge over here starts right there, and from right there you can see that it is curved the whole way. It only has this very little short part back here in the back that's actually flat. The whole thing is like a belly. It's like a long curve, so it's excellent for slicing things and doing little chop cuts in the kitchen. I use this knife mostly in the kitchen, and other than that, I take this knife around with me when I'm not really sure what the day is gonna hold for me. If I have to open boxes, it's great. If you have to cut food with it, it's even better for that. You have a very sturdy lock on here, so you have all the lock strength you might need. Obviously, nobody wants you to pry with them, but if you have to pry something lightly a little bit, you have a good lock there, and you have a solid steel that it's not going to chip off easily on you. This knife is very smooth. The compression lock is just genius in my opinion. It's a liner lock that goes along the back of the spine, so you don't have to have your fingers in the the way that the blade is coming back when you're closing the knife that way. Yeah, this knife is I've had for already a little bit. So you can see it's not the smoothest right now. It needs a little bit of a cleaning, but it's not rough. It's just kind of seems like maybe a little bit. I washed it, so there's no oil left in there because I might have, cut something with it in the kitchen. And you're going to see this is my only knife I have with a tip down carry configuration. The reason for that is that this knife is just so smooth, balanced out of the box with this pocket clip configuration that the balance point is right there. You can demonstrate that by placing it down somewhere like this and seeing how easily it'll just kind of spin around on its own. And you can really feel that in your hand when you're holding the knife up. You don't have a lot of weight forward or backward into your hand. It's just a very balanced knife. Excellent knife for everybody's all-purpose. I would always recommend this knife to somebody who's not really looking to have a collection. They just want something that's very versatile and will be there for them. You got about a 3.5-inch blade here with this one, and about a price point of 140-ish. I got it for 120, but I think you can look around and get it for under 150. This one over here is my fancier knife, obviously. So this is I asked my dad for this for a birthday a while back, so I could have a knife that I could take with me somewhere fancy, somewhere if I'm wearing a tie, I wouldn't necessarily want to carry a plain Jane knife. No offense, this knife is very versatile, but this is more of a vanilla knife. You don't have much going on with it. It's just kind of, it's there for you when you need it. This knife over here, a little less practical. Obviously you can hear this has a very kind of, some might call it gimmicky, but it's just an aesthetic click. As you're opening it, it clicks open just like the Spaniard navajas of the past, the traditional navajas. It kind of would click because they had a little back lock that would have a little ratcheting system there. But This one clicks in another way. I've had this spring inside there. It's a little spring that kind of like rides on a gear along the side of the blade beside the bronze washer in there. And it actually broke in the past, so I have sent this knife in for repairs. Spyderco is excellent with their warranty. There was no questions asked about it. I just said, hey, you know, guys, I tried to like tighten it a little bit, and then it stopped clicking, and I took it apart, and the little spring broke in half, and they replaced it for me because obviously like the spring broke on its own accord, and I didn't break it taking it apart or anything. It was just a little bit of a loose blade there because I had been playing with it a lot. But regardless, they gave me a new spring. They Loctited everything, so I haven't taken it apart since. I haven't needed to. And this knife still has pretty much a factory edge on here. See if I can demonstrate that here. See, it's like popping them off a little bit there. It does not want to focus right now. Jeez. There it goes. So as you can see there, now that it's focusing, it's popping off hairs a little bit there. Look at that, I got a nice big old spider bite there from working out in the backyard. I was working in the back. I didn't go today because it was raining, so I decided to make this video instead. So this knife, 4-position pocket clip as well. As I said, that one's the only one that's going to be tip down. This one I have tip up like all my other knives, just because that's how I like to draw my knife, and I'm used to drawing it out and having my thumb be kind of pointed already at the stud or the hole or whatever I'm going to use to flip it, or my finger already prepared for the flipper if there's one for whatever knife I'm carrying that day. Moving on from this one, oh man, this balances way too much. Way too balanced, overly balanced, guys, come on. That looks cool. Anyways, next one I have here, not USA made knife anymore. By the way, I'm sorry, forgot to mention, this one is discontinued. I believe Ed Shemp replaced it. He made another design. This is the guy that designed it. He made another one called the Bowie or something like that, and it was very similar. I don't think it had the little ratcheting system, and it had like a golden bolster there instead. Carbon fiber as well. I'm not sure. I think that one was also limited, and they might not have anymore. This one I was able to find on eBay. It was right about the time they were discontinuing them, so I still got a new one, brand new for me. But I'm sure you still find or trade them in the forums or other places like that if you know where to look for them. So my next one is another discontinued model over here, unfortunately, and I actually had this one before. I had the paramilitary 2, and this was the reason I got the paramilitary 2. This is a Spyderco Superleaf. Whoops. This is a G10 Superleaf. So you have a G10 handle here. You can see it's a nice fine texture. Like all Spydercos have like a very nice texturing, I think. It's not too rough, but it gives you a good grip. This knife is pretty much like a beefy paramilitary. There are certain things I really like about it, and certain things that I know kind of like Spyderco didn't like about it, where I don't know for a fact, but I mean I'm kind of like suspecting is why they discontinued the knife. So firstly, I like the 2-position pocket clip. You have this wire clip here, so that's very nice, very slim. I've had to replace it once before too already, because when I was carrying this knife a lot, it got caught. I think it was like on a seat belt of a car or something, and it just bent out so easily, so much easier than any other pocket clip I've had. So obviously that's a drawback. It's a very cool little design. It's very slim, and it's very lightweight, and it's deep carry. Some people are all about that, but I never really cared that much about it. I just kind of like that it's a wire, and I like the look of it more. But honestly, it kind of sucks that it was just so easily bent out of shape. So I kind of get why they did away with that. The thumb hole, the lanyard hole. Look at the size difference here. You have a huge lanyard hole with a paramilitary 2, whereas in the Superleaf you have to kind of like really work your lanyard in there if you're a lanyard carrying person. I don't really put lanyards on my knives. A lot of the times I don't, maybe if they don't have a pocket clip, but generally I like to leave them naked like this. And this one also, compression lock. I had this one first, and this is what I loved about this knife, which is why I replaced it pretty much with a paramilitary 2. This is a Japanese knife, so instead of S30V, we have VG10. VG10 I like a lot. Easy to sharpen, it takes a crazy edge, but you're gonna have to sharpen it a little bit more frequently than S30V or a harder metal like that. So another thing I love about this knife is this choil, and my other absolute favorite thing about it is the blade thickness. You can kind of see that it's just slightly thicker than the paramilitary. You have a thicker blade there, which when you clean and oil the knife, which I haven't in a while, which is why you guys can see that I'm kind of like having to flip them open hard here. They're not as smooth as they were. These are like some of the smoothest knives I have that don't have bearings, but I haven't oiled them in a while. If you oil this knife, the weight of this blade, because of how much thicker it is, just really adds to that. It just kind of glides open. I used to just be able to press a compression lock, and that puppy would just drop right out, and I should really just clean them. I have them in a bag because these are collector's items now. I have not been able to find one of these in a long time, so I don't think I'm getting rid of it anytime soon. And yeah, this knife is definitely staying in the vault there. I use this one instead. You have the same convenience of the compression lock, and you have a very versatile blade, slightly less thickness there, but that gives you a little more of a lightweight knife. And like I said, that one is not as balanced as that one. You got a lot more front weight with this one because of that thicker blade. The next one I have here, this is a Spyderco Harpy, another Japanese Spyderco. This is a stainless steel blade, and this is an older one. As you can see here, I have a different kind of pocket clip on it. And the pocket clip on this one says US patent, foreign patents pending. So, Japanese knife, and unlike many other Harpies you may or may not have seen, if you have seen Harpies, mostly nowadays, these are fully serrated. I saw this knife and I fell in love with this knife because I saw it in a movie. I saw it in, what movie was that? It was not Silence of the Lambs. I believe it was the sequel, but it might have been the third one of that series. I'm not entirely sure. But Hannibal Lecter, Anthony Hopkins plays Hannibal Lecter. He's a character that is a sociopath, serial killer, and he's a genius as well. And he has this knife, and there's a scene in the movie where he goes to discreetly kill his victim in like a crowded place or something, and he's just kind of walking around. He's holding this knife, and particularly this one, it had a straight edge. They showed it real quick, and since then it took me a while, but I did find one. The story about that will be another video, but I did find a guy near me that I ended up trading lots of knives with over time. And he had this one. He had gotten from a law enforcement friend. He actually, as you can see there, he kind of drilled out and I guess what do you call that, like beveled the inside of the spider hole, so it's not like, you can see this one over here, it's got a little bit more of an edge there. The circle the hole grabs your finger better, I guess, but I don't know, it doesn't make a difference to me. This is fine, it feels comfortable and everything. But anyways, in the movie, he's holding it like this, and he goes up, and Anthony Hopkins goes up to the other person, and I guess they kind of just bump shoulders, but he stabs him with this real quick, cuts his artery on his leg, and the guy just, slowly dies in the what is it, like in an alleyway or something, I don't know. But anyways, point is, I saw this knife in a movie, and I didn't know it existed until then. I did lots of research, and I looked it up all over the place. Turned out one of my neighbors had one that was able to trade with me, and that's another knife I highly doubt I'm ever gonna let go. It's not in the best condition. It's got a lot of use and wear, and I can tell it's been sharpened a few times, but honestly, it's such a cool little treasure for me that I couldn't let it go. And it's not even the lockup is not, it's a Spyderco, so it's solid, but you feel a little bit of wiggle with these because it's a stainless steel handle, so you can't really adjust the pin. It's kind of hidden in there. Moving on, I have these last three. These are all made in China, but they're very, very good, especially for little gifts, I think, and stuff like that. I thought for a while these were discontinued, but it looks like I was on the website just now. I was on Blade HQ and Knife Center. These are two of my go-to websites for buying knives, and I found out, I guess they still have them. They're not totally discontinued. So the first one here is called the Grasshopper in a stainless steel handle. And these are slip joints knives. Okay, so these don't have a lock. These kind of just use a little spring pressure in the back here to just kind of click into a flat part of the blade here. And that kind of just holds it. These are two-handed knives. You can close them, I guess, one-handed, but that's a little sketchy. So this is more like a knife you keep in your keychain or in your car. Throw it at the bottom of your purse, you know, in some pocket. There's a little scratch on there from, I guess I cut something once. I don't know, it might have been rough. I don't know if it was like I cut something that had sandpaper inside it, like a little packet I was trying to open, and it was a pack of sandpaper. So one of the little sides scraped up against it. But, I mean, I've used this knife. I usually keep it by my nightstand in case there's something like I need to open, you know, like, or pick open. You know, my nightstand's pretty close to my wife's vanity right now, so she'll get like makeup in the mail or at the store or whatever, and it'll have little tiny the plastic wraps that are kind of like really hard to get your nails into because those little makeup things are small. So this knife has a very good point for just kind of like picking that off and getting that open and just getting that initial tear there. This again is a Spyderco Grasshopper in stainless steel, made in China. And let's see if it says the blade steel on here. It doesn't, but I believe it's like a 3CR or something like that. Let me see. I have it on the website here pulled up just in case I can, so I can check out this information for you guys on the go. It's 8CR 13 MOV, very common Chinese steel there, used in a lot of you know, budget knives from knives companies. I'm gonna keep these like this so you guys can see the size comparison here. Remember, keep in mind these are about 3.5-inch blades. Most of these Spyderco's like under. So it also depends on how you measure blades. Some people measure like the curvature of the blade. Some people measure straight from the tip to the back. I don't really know. They're all about 3.5 inches. They're under 4 inches. They're what I consider to be an average size knife. The next one I have here is getting even smaller. This one's the Grasshopper. This one's called the Honeybee. So again, you have another 2-finger slip joint knife. Two-handed opening and closing. These are pretty rough to open and close. I mean, they're not rough, but the lock is hard, and that's kind of the point, is for safety. And these are very sharp. They're very, very useful, capable little knives, especially if you're stuck trying to open up a box and you don't have something. You got to get through some of that tough tape, or even sometimes they have that like paper tape with a little the little plastics inside so the boxes, you know, don't become open and shipping and stuff like that. And this knife, like I said, just like this one, even smaller, just as capable. You get a little less blade length, but I think that it's a very nice little knife for if you have like bigger hands, or you just don't want quite as big a knife as that, but you still want to have something that's like, you know, you're gonna be able to pull it in anywhere with keychains. They're not gonna like give you crap about it at the entrance. That's generally a great knife for that as well. And if you're looking for something even smaller, we have the Spyderco Bug, which I've shown before, I believe, but this knife is the smallest pocket knife that Spyderco produces. Slip joint, same as these. It's the same series, you know. So you got a stainless steel and 8CR13 MOV blade and stuff like that. Same blade shape, and it's the same concept. It can be in a keychain. I made my wife off of some other video I saw on YouTube. This lady used to make YouTube videos. I don't even know if she still does. Her name's like Kayla, and she had an idea about making earrings with these. So I had bought a pair, and I made my wife a pair of earrings with some of those. And she liked them for a while too. She thought they were very cute looking and everything. And nothing was cooler than, you know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna open something. Oh, let me, you know, take my earring off. This is actually a working knife, but they are a little bit heavy. So, you know, it's quite a pendant on there. It'd be a little better, I think, as a necklace, or like even like as a bracelet charm. I think would be excellent for that. So I ended up taking them apart, and, you know, I kept one for me, and I let her keep the other one so she could keep one in her purse. And eventually I gave her something to replace that one, so this one wound up here in the collection. And the other one's floating around there somewhere, I think, on my desk. I'm not sure, really. I haven't seen it in a while. But here's my Spyderco collection as of right now, guys. So I like all these little knives, and I would recommend them for different reasons to different people that have, you know, different purposes that they need to fulfill with their blades. But excellent company, you know, whether they're made in China, made in Japan, or made in the US, they stand by their product. I've not been disappointed with any Spydercos that I've bought. Some of them are, I'll be honest with you guys, like, and sorry Spyderco, I don't, you know, not to hurt your feelings or anything, the designs are not the best looking, but some have said that Spyderco designs, quote unquote, in the dark. So the design is more for your hand. And design is more for comfort and for practicality rather than for aesthetic aesthetics and looks and things like that. So keep that in mind. But when it comes to operation, these knives, I've not had any that are rough or loose or anything strange like that. These knives have always come straight out of the box, sharp as a razor and just butter smooth. So I have never been disappointed. I'm going to continue to buy Spydercos. I may or may not trade these guys in here, but I'm definitely going to add some more to the collection. And I guess I'll be back with another video about these individually. You guys let me know in the comments if you want to see any first, or if you have any questions or need any recommendations about knives that you need. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Please subscribe if you would like to. Leave a comment to talk about the subject or talk to other people about it. And I have an Instagram as well, Theseus Metal Works. Go ahead and follow me there so you can see pictures I post about my knives and what I'm carrying at the moment. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.